Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show this evening. Tonight's guest, we have a returned citizen after a long period of time in prison. He's been home a few months, and we want to bring him on the show and allow you to know who he is and what his future goals are. His brother did a number of years in prison, went in as a youth, and he's back. And we got Brother Terrence McCray, known to me as Luke Man. So we want to welcome to the show. Thank you to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you, and welcome home.
Thank you.
How long you been home?
Actually, today it's been 66 days.
66 days.
66 days.
Okay, well, I'm going to say again, welcome home, my brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's an honor to have you back amongst society again.
Yes, it is.
How much time did you do?
Actually, I did 24 years and 7 months, but if you was to add the juvenile years as well, I probably did over 27 years.
Okay, what age did you go into the system?
Well, the first time I went into the system, I was 13 years old. I went to juvenile hall in Los Angeles, California.
Okay, but you went on this.
When I went to prison,
you got a life sentence on this one, right?
Yeah, I caught the case in actually 1989, but I got a life sentence in 1993.
Okay.
I was actually expedited in 1992 from my home state, Trenton, New Jersey. I got arrested because I went on the run for 3 years and 2 months for this unfortunate crime.
Okay, okay. And you originally caught this case out of where?
Los Angeles County.
Okay, okay. But you caught the case at what age?
I caught the case at the age of 18 years old.
Okay, and then you went on the run?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so years later you were arrested in another state.
Correct.
And you had brought back to California and went to trial and found guilty and sent to prison for 25 years of life, I bet 50 years of life.
15 years of life with a 2-year a 2-year enhancement gun charge.
Okay, so you have 17 years of life.
Correct.
Okay, okay. Where did you start your time?
Actually, I started my time in Corcoran State Prison.
Okay, that was the reception center?
No, I began Wasco, and then I was transferred from Wasco 4 months later to Corcoran State Prison in 1993.
Okay, so when you started your time, we want to start the initial. We started your time in the reception center, which was Wasco.
Correct.
Okay, you stayed at Wasco how long?
4 months.
Okay, and then you got sent to?
Oh, I got sent to Corcoran State Prison.
Okay, that was a level what?
Level 4.
Okay. How long did you stay in level 4s?
I stayed in level 4s completely 12 years.
Okay, okay. And then your points started going down to level 3.
Yeah, that's when I began realizing that I needed to make a change with my way of thinking and my way of life.
Right. Now, that's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, when did the light come on for you to realize that you had to do something different with your life?
Actually, it came on several times throughout the years of my first 12 years being on a level 4. I had to learn a skill and learn a trade. And you know, back then, you couldn't get a skill on a trade on a level 4 yard because there was no access.
Right,
there was no information available for you because we was always on lockdown. But my mom had always told me that I needed to get my GED. That was one of the first things that I had to start coming to terms with, you know, and stop faking it and go in here and take the test and get it.
Right.
So once I realized that I needed an education to really better understand myself, that's when I buckled down and said, you know something, it's time for a change, you know. So I started applying myself through reading a lot. And I say 19 what, actually it wasn't even 19, it was 2004.
2004, okay.
2004. Okay. I got off of level 4 and my first level 3 was CMF.
CMF, okay.
California Medical Facility.
Right, right. How long did you stay at CMF?
I stayed there 5 years.
Okay.
CMF was, it was a place where a lot of people were either dying or in a transition of medical ailments, and they was readjusting back to get back to the general population. Okay. At that time, I was fortunate enough to go there because of the fact that I had tore my Achilles tendon playing basketball. And Salinas Valley didn't have no medical treatment or medical care to give you physical therapy. At that time, that's when the Plotter case had came out, and they had filed a major federal lawsuit against that particular institution for the negligence and neglect of the medical care that individuals was not receiving at Salinas Valley.
Right, right. So you stayed there for a period of time. Then after they feel that you were able to do other activities, they send you what prison then?
Then I went to CMC. I wanted to get closer down south to my family, you know, my close-knit childhood friends, and making it more accessible for them to be able to come visit me because it was more cost efficient.
Right.
So I took that avenue.
Right. So how long did you stay in CMC?
Actually, I stayed in CMC less than 2 years because I got there, I got my GED, I started applying myself, I started working in PIA industry, started going to a bunch of self-help groups, and then my points dropped down for me to make level 2.
What type of self-help groups did you attend?
Where, at CMC?
Yeah.
I did Yoke Fellowship, I did anger management, I did NA, I did AA, I did peer education, dealing with hepatitis, learn how to prevent myself from contracting hepatitis as well as HIV in prison, because you know that was highly prevalent in the prison system and still is today, because then as well as now, for every 5 to 10 cells, someone had either HIV or hepatitis.
Right.
And one of the things that I got involved was learning how to become a facilitator in preventing individuals from contracting this transmittable disease.
Okay.
You know.
So you got some skills while you were in CMC.
Correct.
And you left from there and went where?
I went to Avenal, Avenal State Prison. That was the first level 2 prison I went to.
Okay. And how long were you in Avenal?
Avenal, I was there for several years. I took the initiative because of board recommendations. I got involved in the substance abuse program and became a substance abuse facilitator on 6 Yard.
Okay.
You know, immediately as soon as I got there, provided my resume, spoke to the various people that were in charge. A woman by the name of Miss Richardson was the director of that program called Centerpoint.
Okay.
And at that time, I met with the CC2. They seen who I was. They seen my background as far as on my 128 chronos, and took the initiative to let them know that I was serious about my change.
Okay. So you stayed in Avenal, because Avenal has quite a few yards.
Correct.
So
I stayed on that yard long enough to complete the program. First, I had to be a participant in the substance abuse program. Then I started facilitating what I had learned at CMC, some of the health courses dealing with HIV and hepatitis, because one of the main issues that I noticed on that particular yard was the fact that individuals were committing acts of risky behavior, meaning, you know, they were always constantly trying to get a new tattoo and not being mindful of how easy it was to contract hepatitis or HIV getting tattoos. And individuals was also using needles. So I wanted to shed light on them, how to prevent them from possibly being at a high risk of contracting this virus or disease.
Right. Were you able to get certified?
Actually, at the time, I did get certified.
Okay.
You know, I got certified with the peer education. Okay. At that time, they wasn't allowing someone to implement it because they didn't have it established at Avenal. So they didn't want to enforce it to that point. They just wanted me to share the information. But I had explained to individuals based on my credentials that you could take use of this information because it could save your life.
Sure, yeah. Okay, and so when did you leave Avenal? What year did you leave Avenal?
Well, actually I left Avenal, what year was that? I left Avenal in 2013.
Okay, and you went where then?
I went to Solano State Prison.
Okay.
You know,
when you got to Solano, what programs did you?
Well, actually, when I got to Solano, it wasn't by choice. It was, you know, it was a forced move because of the fact that they were getting rid of all the blacks in Avenal State Prison because of the actual federal mandated order by the federal judges. There was a medical issue where individuals was contracting valley fever and people were dying constant rapidly, and blacks and Filipinos were prone to catching this virus. So I was sent to Solano. However, I had to make the best of the situation. And that's where I actually ended up paroling. But I got involved in multiple programs in Solano. I remained and continued to promote AVP, Alternative to Violence program. I also got involved in peer education there and was promoting peer education there. I also became what is called an in-building self-help facilitator, where I actually facilitated self-help groups, whether it was philosophy of rehabilitation, anger management, insight from Turning Point, or relapse prevention. These were the multiple groups that I continued to explain to individuals how thinking for a change can help them, because in Avenal there was a group that I was involved with called the Timeless Group, and they had the same type of outline as in-building self-help, which provides individuals in every building on both of the level 2 yards an abundance of information and resources, whether it's videos on self-help or whether it's actual facilitators facilitating the class. So I stayed fully active, but one of the things that the prison had came up with was a long-term commitment program for lifers that the board had recommended, and it was a multitude of self-help groups where individuals were certified through CADAC. They have the CADAC program up there, and a lot of individuals were not only getting involved with that, but they was finding a way to give back, you know, to give back and make amends, not only for the crime that they've done, but for the impact that they cause in their own community. So I was fully active and involved in those type of activities constantly.
Did you get certified CADAC?
No, actually I didn't get certified CADAC because I was doing so many other things, whether it was education, in-building self-help, one-on-one session, peer education, or being involved in a program that I'm out here in the society involved with called the 5ventures.org, an entrepreneur and training program which teaches individuals character development, management, and leadership skills. Because right now I'm in the process of starting my own business because of this program that I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to be a graduate of in the prison system.
So then you say you paroled from Solano.
Correct.
How long were you in Solano?
I was in Solano almost 3 years.
And you went before the Board of Prison terms how many times?
That was my 4th time that I went before the prison term, and that was my last time.
Now we want to get on your parole suitability. You went in front of the board a few times. The first time you went in front of the Board of Prison term, they denied you.
Correct.
Why did they deny you?
Well, there were several reasons why they denied me. I didn't want to take accountability for my actions. You know, I was lying. You know, I was trying to manipulate the system. I was confusing myself. I was still thinking the way I was thinking on the streets, you know. Oh, I didn't do it, you know. He had what he got coming. It didn't matter. But in actuality, you know, I knew I did it, you know, but I was running from me. I wasn't ready to grow up, basically.
Now, so you went back and you regrouped, so to speak. You know, you went over there and you read the transcripts.
No, actually, I didn't regroup.
You didn't read the transcripts?
No, I read the transcripts, but I was ashamed so bad that, you know, I thought I could beat the system. You know, so I was looking for a way to get out through the court system. I thought I could get over on the system, but, you know, the system got over on me because the system let me know we don't play this game.
And see, the reason why I'm asking you these questions, because see, you're in people's living rooms and bedrooms right now, and people are listening to what you're saying. See, and we got a lot of people that watch this show. This show goes all around the world. It's going to be on YouTube, So people watch this show, and people look at our show, and they can look at a person on our show and see whether they faking or not. You see what I'm saying? So the reason why I'm asking you these questions, because people are gonna read you. People gonna read what you're saying, and they gonna say, "Yeah, he real. Oh, he faking." You said just like that Board of Prison nurse when you go in front of them. They do this for a living, right? They do this. So we got people, we got psychologists, we got different people watching this show, and they do this for a living. And so we have this show, the Wendell and James show, and we have it for a reason because we have a platform, we have a show for us. Returned citizens. And we want people to know who's coming back in their society, who's coming back in their neighborhood, right? We want them to know that we for real, we ain't faking, right? So what you're saying now, they looking at what you're saying, right? I want to bring that to your attention. They looking at what you're saying, and this is why I'm asking you the question. I'm asking you because I want you to understand that, see, when you come home, we want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Okay.
Right, so we want people to know that we got people back, long-time offenders that come back to our neighborhood, to our community, and they're real about being here. So that's why I'm asking you the question. I'm asking you that you went in front of the Board of Prison Term, and a few times you went in there slipping because you was not real about what you was doing. You didn't accept your responsibilities. But then you got to the point to where a light came on beam, and you start accepting your responsibilities because I committed a crime. I did this. You don't need me faking that, well, okay, he had to come on with whatever. No, you did this, and you take full responsibility for what you did, and you back to let society know that I'm part of this world again.
Definitely.
You know, so this is why I ask you a question. I ain't trying to throw nothing at you because that ain't what the show's about. We real. We call realists here. You know, we want people to know that we're back. We want to be part of this world again. Because we didn't just go in the boardroom and they say, okay, you did so much time, you go. It didn't happen like that.
No, it didn't.
You know, you had to go in there and you had to figure out what you had to do and say to these people because these people do it for a living. Every day, up and down the highway to different prisons, and they know when a person is faking. So we went in there and you convinced the Board of Prison Terms that, look, this man did this, he accepted responsibility, and this crime will never happen again. That's what you did. You know, it took a number of times for you to go in there, but you got it down, you got your roadmap down, and you went in there and you explained to these people that don't even know you. All they know you through is a folder, some papers.
Correct.
Right? And they failed you when you went in there and you got found suitable. So when you got found suitable, what was that like? What was that hearing? That hearing was different from any other hearing you went to.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, yeah, it was different from any other hearing. Yes, it was.
It validated the work that I put in
Yes.
to change myself.
Yes.
That's what it really did do.
Yes.
You know, there were many times at night that I visioned, you know, being successful, but I never knew if that opportunity would ever come.
Mm-hmm.
And to have that moment, you know, it's mind-boggling, you know, to have that feeling for someone to finally say, you know, we accept you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We accept you for making the mistakes that you made.
Mm-hmm.
We accept the fact that you've grown from your immaturity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that we accept the fact is that you understand how to follow the rules
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of the main things that the board was looking for, you know, was, do you understand how to follow the rules as well as do you understand your way of thinking?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to prevent you from not taking another man's life or any human being's life again? Do you really get that? Do you understand that? Mm-hmm. Then that made me sit back and reflect long before I went to this fourth and last board hearing, the impact that I've caused. I mean, here it was, you know, there was a time in my life that, you know, I thought I knew myself, but I didn't really have a self-concept of myself other than the definition of the California Penal Code system, because that's how I was living my life, you know. And here it is, I'm running into individuals. When I say run into, I'm coming in contact with people in prison that heard of me on the streets based on a crime that I committed and glorifying it like, you know, they won the Super Bowl or something.
Right, right.
You know, and here it is, because of that, you know, other people are still living in anguish. And any time that a reflection of the human being's life that I've taken is brought up, it just opens up the door, you know, of pain, you know. And this is something that, who wants to have that burden on them? Who wants to be able to walk into a store and someone point you out and say, that's the man that murdered my uncle, or that's the man that murdered my brother, you know, or that's the man that murdered my son or murdered my father, you know, when my mom didn't raise me to be this way. And here it is, you know, you think that you could walk around in society and be able to accept that and not be looking over your shoulder and worried about how a person still feels to this day after 28, 29 years.
Right. But this is why you take full responsibility for our actions.
Definitely.
You know, some people go into a boardroom and they say, well, you know, like you say, he had it coming. You know, it was either me or him. You know, but see, when a person pick up a pistol, a rifle, only one thing that's used for is killing something.
Correct.
Right? Either you're gonna go hunting in the woods, or you're gonna go hunting in the community.
Correct.
That's the only thing it's used for. Taking something's life, you know. And people have to be conscious of that. You know, a lot of people we come up in the neighborhood, we're not conscious of that. You know, we get a gun for protection. We think it's for protection. We're supposed to, you know, get him or he get me. You know, but if you get a gun, that's what it's for. Taking something's life, an animal or a human being, you know. And we go from that board of prison terms, like I said, the light comes on and realize that, hey, look, this happened, it ain't gonna never happen again. So we take full responsibility for our actions in the crime that we did. We went temporary insane. Because taking somebody's life, you go insane. Temporary insane, but we went into a system, you know, a confined system, and we got all the tools that we need to do the metamorphosis, so to speak. And we go through the system for a period of time. You know, we get institutionalized, then we got to rehabilitate. We got to pick ourselves from that and come back, because we're going to get out one day. We got to come back to this and adapt to this way of living. You know, so we got to do the metamorphosis twice. While we're in prison doing the transition, then we got to transition back to society to do the metamorphosis out here. Because you got to learn how to do everything all over again out here.
Correct.
You got to learn how to ride the bus. You got to learn how to walk down Market Street and not think everybody looking at you because you just got out of prison. That type of thing. You know, we got to readjust. And it's a job. It ain't easy.
No, it ain't. And technology is one of the main reasons on how you have to relearn.
Right.
You know, I was blessed and fortunate enough to have a lot of support in the Islamic community in prison, as well as out here in society. You know, coming in contact with you, brother, the other brother Ali, a brother named Taqwa. I met another brother Ali. You know, it's been a lot of tremendous support here in the Bay Area, being the fact that I grew up in West Los Angeles in the Islamic community, and one of the biggest impacts that I've had out here was Alliance for Change, an organization that actually goes to prison and was built and designed from prison. And one of my good brothers in the Solano State Prison that helped design this program, named Malik Harris, as well as David Cowan, had a major impact in picking me up upon my release. You know, unfortunately, my mom wasn't able to fly out here from New Jersey to come pick me up because of financial reasons. At the same token, his brothers come pick me up and make sure that I have everything that I need before I walk in the house. Right. And then, you know, some time passed by and a few other brothers reached out to me that I grew up with and made my financial situation a lot better, you know, and that was great. And I tried to give back to this organization, and they said, no, pay it forward. When someone gets out, you know, extend that same way we extended it to you. That would be the best blessing that we would want to receive from you, because they're not doing it for profit. They doing it for non-profit.
Exactly.
You know, and that's mind-boggling, you know, and the fact that this is the type of people, you know, that you get the opportunity to meet, to embrace you and still accept you. You know, one of the things that my mom and a childhood friend of mine, who father I call Pops, Mr. Rondi Harris, you know, I consider him like my father. You know, one of the things he told me upon me being out was, you know, find you some new friends. You know, he stressed that the most. Find you some new friends. And since I've been out here, I've been doing a lot of major network. You know, I come to like this Bay Area. I come to see why, you know, a lot of people like it up here in the Bay Area. You know, if it's possible financially, I'll make it my home. But at the same token, my family is all over. You know, my family ain't just in New Jersey. My family's in LA. I got a big, huge childhood family, you know, of friends that I grew up with that I consider my own blood. We just ain't got the same gene, but we got the same heart and same spirit and same connection and same love for one another, who's been there for me throughout my stint, who's never closed the door. You know.
Well, you know, in some cases in relationships, you know, relationships can be unhealthy for an individual, where an individual has to exchange all friends. Sometimes you got to get rid of that big butt woman with the big breasts.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know, and a lot of people say, "Well, no, I don't think I can do that." Yeah, well, if the betterment for yourself, you have to, you know, because the only thing that really is in a way of change is self. Self-preservation is the first thing of mankind. Self. if you don't take care of yourself, ain't nobody else gonna take care of you.
Without a doubt.
So you got to get you together first before you can help anybody else in this life, you know. And once you succeed in that, like you say, pay it forward. You know, help those that can help themselves.
Correct.
We in a society where we got a lot of people around us that are suffering from the disease that they don't believe they have, and we know they got it. We see it. You know, sometimes you look in the mirror and you can't see it, but you know other people can see it. You know, so we have to play service, like give service to the people that's come home from society within itself, prison, because prison got everything that we have out here, everything. We got to give them an opportunity to come home and tell them, hey man, you can do this. So a lot of people come home with that fear. I can't do this. They've been gone for so long. I can't do this. And they get out, and some of them go back. You know, so we got to make sure that they have an understanding that, man, I'm doing this here. You can do this. It's real easy.
Correct.
We was in a small arena in there. We got a big one in here. You know, they said at one time the world was flat. They lied. You start at San Francisco International Airport, go all the way around the world, and come back to that airport. So it's round.
Correct.
You see, so we got to enjoy this. And you, I'm going to say again, welcome home, man.
Thank you, brother.
You know, you deserve this. You work for it. You asked to come out here. And whatever you got out here, you got coming. You know, you asked for it. And they allowed you to come out here and be part of this world again. So we want to thank you for coming on the show this evening. And this is going to be on YouTube in about an hour. You know,
Okay.
you can look at this whenever you want to. You can put it down. You can tell all your family all around the world, you know, to look at you on TV, and this is you.
Well, let me just say this, because before we go, I appreciate that. But I have to acknowledge various people. You know, if it wasn't for the McCrae family, like my mother, for the Harris family, for the Flowers family, for the Potter family, for the Durden family, and even for my man Farid, you know, there's a lot of people, even some field families, you know, have been very supportive in my change, in my transition to become a better human being, as well as an entrepreneur. You know, a lot of programs that the institution provide makes it available for individuals to make no excuse.
Sure.
And there's no such thing with me as far as being laziness and trying to make something better for myself. I'm thankful for this, you know, and I'm truly blessed. But, you know, without that support, it could be even more difficult for those who don't have it.
Right.
So you giving me this opportunity to speak is to let individuals know, you know, you got to find that right support team.
You got to find it.
You got to find it, because when you mention, you know, you got to choose what type of person you're going to be around with. I want to be around positive people.
At all times.
Productive people.
Right, all times.
And honest people. Because those type of people are trustworthy and responsible.
Right, right.
And a lot of them Muslim.
Right.
You know, and a lot of them Christians.
Right.
And a lot of them Jewish.
Right.
A lot of them Buddhists.
Right.
You know, at the same token, these type of people are the ones I gravitate towards. Why? Because I know in life, if I want something, I got to work hard for it.
Got to work for it. Got to work for it.
Because my friend Mark Ricks, I've watched him make a major transition, as well as another few other individuals that I'm seeing on Facebook. That goes for Tia Gold, who's an author. And I was just talking to her the other day. We need to put a movie together, as well as Mr. Dion Best.
Right.
You know, these are some positive people trying to do positive things and supporting me.
Well, we want to thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
For doing your metamorphosis.
Thank you.
Coming back to society.
Alhamdulillah.
And welcome home, my brother.
Thank you, brother.
Okay. So on Saturday nights on channel 29 at 7 o'clock, this show will be shown. And we have live interviews on Thursday at 6:30 to 7. You know, tune in. This Thursday we'll have an individual on that's been in the system for a long period of time. He's back. He's putting work in. You know, he's making a difference. And you know, on 76 at 6:30, from 6:30 to 7, take a little time and tune into our show, and see what this brother is talking about. You know, and get something out of it. You know, call in and ask questions. You know, if you feel there's something that's not right or don't sound right, call in. We got a number that we're gonna get put up on Thursday, and allow yourself to be part of this conversation.
Can I say
live
one
conversation?
thing? One last thing, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Look out for American Digital Business Cards. I'm in partnership with Mondo Elliott and a good friend of mine, Mr. Irvin.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next week. And stay safe. Don't forget, we got another blessed day above ground. We got one more day to get something right. We got one day at a time. This day will never change. Okay, this day will never change. After this day, it's going to be a wrap. You know, so get all that you can get out of this day. You know, one day at a time. Straight ahead, tunnel vision.